Here's a lesson that I wish 20-year-old me would have known. And I'm going to use an example to try to get the point across. So you have a group of 30 people who work in a company. You are just starting at this company where these 30 people are working. It could be anywhere. Well, when you start at this job, you realize that there's a certain flow, right? There's things that are allowed, there's things that aren't allowed, there's things that, there's a way in which people are working and that this business has been running before you even got there, right? Well, as an observer and as someone who's trying to learn how to get things done and how to do it the way the other people are doing it, you realize some things are just not, you realize there could be better ways of doing things at this workplace. You address those points with your supervisors and maybe some of your employees, and you say, you know what, things might work better if we do this. I think it'll be easier if we do this. I don't really appreciate that we have to do this because it doesn't leave us enough time to do this. You just start voicing your opinion. It's not complaining. It's just you are an observer, right? You've been observing, you're training, so you're getting to know how things are working, and you're just voicing your opinion. Well, it's not received well. It's not received well because these 30 people, they've been doing things like this for, some of them been there 5 years, some of them been there a year, some of them been there 6 months, but they've been there for a specific amount of time, and they have adapted, okay? And here you come with all these grand ideas thinking that you're just going to change the company culture, okay? Mind you, bosses don't like that, okay? They don't like stuff like that. After a while, you will realize that you are being alienated, or they're not really talking to you as much. They don't want to really be around you as much. People are kind of like gossiping and whispering behind your back. And people are making you out to be a very problematic person. But the reality of it is you've been able to observe and you've been able to see all the discrepancies within this company, and you know that there are certain things that are being done wrong, and you're vocalizing that, and they don't care. Why? Because they have been doing things a certain way for quite a long time. More often than not, you will either be fired, right, for some outlandish reason that doesn't align with anything that you've actually done. It's just a way to get you out. Or you will be treated in a way that will make you want to just quit, right? You'll feel like you're not being heard. You feel like people are deliberately trying to sabotage you at work, and you're just going to get so overwhelmed and just so tired of working with those people that you're just going to up and quit. Very little, right? It's a very tiny percentage of companies where they hear you out and they start making those necessary changes, okay? And I say this because I keep hearing this analogy of like, either you're going to be the person who owns said company, owns said business, or you're going to be the one that's cleaning everything up. You're going to be the one that's on your knees scraping. You're going to be the one that's like doing the brunt work, the dirty work, okay? Had I realized that when I was 20 years old and realized that a lot of these companies, a lot of these businesses, they have a company culture, and the majority of people are working there. They're upholding this work culture. So if it's a culture where there's no breaks and people are overworking themselves and people are they're tired and they're always burnt out, and people are continuing to show up to work and they're not voicing their opinion, well, guess what? That's company culture, right? That's what they have allowed over time. And those people, those 30 people for the example, don't feel confident enough to speak up for what they want or what they need because they don't feel like they're going to be heard. And so they just continue on with the company culture. They just continue showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up. But you, as being that one person, you're like, I don't want to show up, right? I don't want to show up for this place. I don't want to do this. Not because you don't want to work, not because you're lazy, but because you want to be treated fairly. Okay? And so you have to ask yourself, if you want to be treated fairly and you want to be in a position of power, then you have to work your way up to a position of power. You have to go into entrepreneurship. You have to work a slum job for a certain amount of time to work yourself up. But most of the time it's getting into entrepreneurship, starting your own business, starting something that's going to make you successful and something that you have to rely on yourself, because these businesses, and I've said it so many times, you are not, you're not moving up the ladder fast, right? Especially for a black woman as like me, if you got some sort of color in your skin, you're probably not moving up too fast unless you are, you have to forego some things that you want in your life, and you have to kind of, jump way more hurdles. Okay. But this idea that people are saying that you can move up the ladder. First of all, here's one lie. One lie is that you'll get a degree, you'll go to college, spend all this money and tuition to get a degree. And then after you get this degree, you're going to get a wonderful career job. That's the first lie. Okay. That's the first lie. The second lie is that you can work a specific job and you're just going to work your way up, and you'll be able to work your way up into a really good position. Yeah, over the next 10, 20 years, how many people that I've known, I've worked many, many jobs, and I've known people who be in positions for 5, 15, nearly 20 years and never move up the ladder. And when you ask them, some of them just didn't want to, but others of them, they never even reached for the stars. They didn't even ask about those higher positions. They didn't say, I don't want to be a cashier anymore. I want to be the manager. I don't want to be the manager. They don't ask those questions. And then you get pushed out of so many jobs, right? We'll go to number 3. You'll get pushed into, you'll have so many different jobs because you are the person that wants to speak up, and you do want to change company culture. And you'll get pushed out of so many jobs, and they'll look at your resume and they'll say, you've only worked at this job 3 months. You've only worked at this job 3 months. The crazy thing about it is you have the experience, right? They want to know that you've had this 10 plus year experience, when the truth of the matter is you've got the experience of the 3 months can take you very far if you know the at least the basic components of what the specific job that you're trying to get. All this to say is that if you're expecting as a 20-year-old, as a 25-year-old, 30-year-old to go into a position and think, okay, I can identify that this is wrong, they shouldn't treat you like this, we need better this. If you can identify that, more often than not, the other employees can identify that. The bosses can identify and have identified that, and they're not changing it. Okay? I work at a job where employees don't even have an office. They don't even have an office to sit in, right? When they need to sit and have a break or gather their thoughts. It's just a job where you just go in and you kind of just have to, and they tell you like, oh no, you could take a break. They expect you to go outside and smoke a cigarette, which is terrible for your body. But there's nowhere, the bosses have an office, but there's no office created specifically for the employees to feel appreciated, to feel respected, to feel like, you know what I'm saying? And I just realized, like, bro, if you are 20 years old, 30 years old, 15 years old, and you're thinking that you're going to go into a position, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. We live in a society where a lot of people are a slave to the system. Yes, we need the paycheck. We need to be working. We need to be able to pay our bills. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not saying no to that at all. But I am saying that if enough of us spoke up about what was wrong and, spoke up about the things that needed to be changed, at least something would happen. But nothing happens, because everyone just continues to work. They continue to show up. They just continue to just keep doing their job. It's like, oh, well, it is what it is. I'm just going to show up another day. I'm just going to show up burnt out. I'm just going to show up. And then what do these bosses and companies do? They say, we're going to give you a pizza party. We're not going to give you better pay. We're going to give you a pizza party. You worked your butt off when, they want you to rush for audits and stuff like that. And this is not no shade, if y'all watching the job that I work at right now, if y'all watching, this ain't no shade. You know what I mean? I've worked many a job, so I'm not talking about just you, okay? But I am saying that there are jobs. Damn, I need water. My bad. One of the best things that you can do, and I'm sorry, I know I had a point before that, but I couldn't breathe, had my windows all the way up, and I needed water. I'm like, what the hell? But the best thing that you can do for your family is start your own business. Start something on the side. I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But have specific goals in mind. Because I know that they say go into doing what you want to do. Figure out, your purpose and find out what you want to do and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is a lot of us have come from very poor generations. Very, very poor. And so when you come into, I came into this, man, I started seeing things for as they were, but I was I had a lot of dreams and goals. I'm like, man, I want to do this and I want to do this. I want to follow my passions. And, that's great. You know what I mean? That's great for somebody who has a successful career already, right? They're born from successful careers. They have parents who are successful and they have really successful jobs. They've graduated college and all this stuff. That's great for that, for that type of person. That's not good for the type of person who's grown up poor. You know what I mean? They've grown up poor. There's no foundation. There's no stability. There's nothing to fall back on. So if you're going to follow your passion, bro, you're going to fall all the way to the, below the ground because there's no foundation. And that was what I realized when I started trying to pursue passion going to college. It's I want to do theater. I don't want to do, you know what I mean? My passion wasn't necessarily to be an actor. You know what I mean? It was just to pursue something that was more fun and creative. And I did that, but there was no real goal in mind. There was no real career in mind other than the economics, right? I was taking economics too. That would have took me somewhere doing finance or accounting or something like that. I should have went down that route, but we're convinced oh, you can go to college. You can just spend some time taking, having fun and doing what you want, or take a gap year. All of these crazy things that they tell you to do, when you're already poor. No, that's ridiculous. You have to zone in and figure out, be specific about what you want at a very early age. Because by the time you're my age, 31, you starting at 20, starting at 18, bro, you're extremely ahead of the game. You're extremely ahead of the game. And that's something that I want to teach my kids. And that's how I'm going to step my kids' life up. That's how they're going to be able to, live the life that they want to live, because I'm going to build the proper foundation for them to buoy off of, if that makes sense. Because me coming from a poor single mother, no father, you know what I'm saying? I would say no consistent father. I ain't gonna throw him on the bus like that. But no consistent father, no, a single mom with a bunch of kids, and, you know what I mean? Coming from poor, thinking that I can just go out here and just say, I'm gonna follow my passion. I'm gonna do something fun with my life. No. It's it's a very tough pill to swallow, that you kind of have to make up for what other people didn't do before you. But that's how you remedy not broken generations, but like, like it's like that's how you rebuild the generations. That's how you know what I mean? Okay. Let me go to work. It's hot. It's hot. I sat here talking about a bunch of stuff. You guys, I have to do these videos. Like, I gotta sit here and like talk and like, because I want to be able to talk more and like and I want to educate, right? It's very hard for me to do entertaining videos because I just feel like there's so much for us to learn, so much for us to know. And it's just so hard to just sit back and just have fun. And, there's people out there that have the creative, the entertainment bug. And they do such a great job of like entertaining us and making us feel good for a couple of minutes so that, while we're not focusing on the crap and all the craziness that's going on in our life. That's beautiful. And then there's other people that just have to teach, they have to talk about like really important things and topics so that people understand. And that is me. Okay. But yeah, I'm hot. I gotta go to work. I'm also hungry. I want to get something to eat, but I don't know. I bought them Oreos, them vanilla Oreos. Ooh, they're so good. They're so good. I bought one box and me and the girls tried them after school one day. They were fire. And then they were so fire that I went and bought another box before work yesterday. And I ate the whole box. That's not good. Gotta do better. Okay? Because should not be eating like that. No. Alright, let me get out of Starbucks parking lot because I ain't buying a damn thing in here. I just came here because ain't nobody in the parking lot and I can sit here freely and talk. But Starbucks ain't getting my money today because I'm broke. No, we not broke. We don't say that. I don't really even say that anymore. I say I don't have, I'm low on funds. I'm low on funds, but we will be replenished. Okay? We will be replenished. Actually, I just got paid. But I need to stop saying that too, because I didn't get paid. The money hit my bank account, but the money's actually for bills, so the bills got paid. They ain't get physically paid exactly yet, but they're getting paid. The money ain't really mine. Alright, y'all. I'm out of here. Somebody said, I'm sitting across the McDonald's. Somebody said McDonald's went from like a kids island, like I forget what they said, but you remember how I had like the jungle gym and all the stuff for the kids to have fun and stuff, and it was all colorful. It was red and yellow, really fun. And then somebody said it looks like a prison now, all gray and just ugly. Ain't that crazy? All these people that come to McDonald's, it don't even look appealing to come to anymore. Anyways, I'm out of here. I might get something from Starbucks. I ain't gonna lie. Might as well treat myself this morning. They ain't got the cherry chai anymore. I'm so mad. That cherry chai, oh. One of the best drinks I probably ever drank in my life. I really like the horchata. Horchata is one of my favorite drinks. Am I saying it right? Horchata. I've made it from scratch myself. Very good. Very good. But all right, let me go.